For the first week, Veyra didn't say a word beyond the basics.
Name, rank,
Species. The mandatory information every captured soldier was required to give under galactic convention. After that, silence. Her body healed quickly from the plasma burn she'd received when her ship was shot down. She barely slept. She barely moved. She barely looked at me unless I spoke directly to her. But she watched. Every movement I made, every breath I took, every hesitation, and every expression. The first time I caught her looking at me with something other than hostility, the moment vanished so fast I thought I imagined it. The only time she reacted strongly was when I came near her, too near. Her species had no concept of gentle touch, no cultural equivalent to comfort contact. To them, touch meant combat, dominance, or bonding, and bonding was far more intimate than anything humans use the word for. So when I accidentally brushed against her that first day, she froze as if stabbed. Over time, I learned to keep my distance. But that didn't stop the questions. Why had she surrendered? Why had she refused medical care until she collapsed? Why did she seem more afraid of me than of the armed guards? Every report I wrote came back stamped. Insufficient data. Try again. And try again I did. Even if she wouldn't talk. The breakthrough. 2 weeks in, I walked into the lab and found her trembling. At first, I thought she was cold. Othari bodies ran hotter than humans, but the room temperature was set to a neutral level. Then I saw her claws digging into the inspection table. Her breath came in shallow bursts. Her pupils dilated until her eyes were almost completely black. Veyra was terrified. Veyra, I said softly, what's happening? She shook her head violently. Back, she hissed. Stay back. But she wasn't looking at me. She wasn't afraid of me. She was afraid of the door. I followed her gaze to the reinforced metal entrance and realized it was slightly ajar. Not open enough for someone to enter, but enough to show someone had been there. A guard? A superior? Someone coming to interrogate her again? I'll check it, I said. Just stay there. She let out a strangled sound, half protest, half plea, but didn't move. When I shut the door firmly, she sagged in relief, her entire body softening. That was the moment I understood. She hadn't surrendered to us. She had escaped something, and being captured by humans had been the safer option. I approached slowly, my hands in plain view. Veyra, I said quietly, you're safe here. No, she whispered. No one is safe. Not around me. Not near me. Her voice cracked as if something inside her was breaking open. That was the first time she spoke more than a sentence. It would not be the last. Middle, the secret of her species. Veyra's confession came out in fragments. Painful fragments. She spoke as if every word was a blade she had to swallow. My species, we are born connected, she explained. A hive? You would call it that, but not like insects. It is emotional, neural, biological. A shared mind, I asked. Not mind, she corrected. Instinct, fear, rage, purpose. She finally looked at me, really looked. When one of us is touched, the other sense it. Feel it, echo it. The pieces clicked together. That's why you reacted so strongly. She gave a shuddering breath. Touch links, touch transfers, touch binds. To what? I asked. To the one touching us. A cold ripple ran through me. You mean if I touch you? Yes, she rasped. You risk connection. And my hive, they will sense you. They will come. They will not tolerate an outsider imprinting one of their warriors. That's why you surrendered, I whispered. She nodded. Better to be taken by humans than return. I didn't know the full story yet, but I understood enough. Someone in her hive had hurt her. Someone had tried to imprint on her. Someone powerful. And she'd rather be a prisoner than go back. That changed everything. From that point, our sessions shifted. I no longer tried to interrogate her. I tried to help her. Some days she talked. Some days she couldn't. Some days she sat in total silence while I worked nearby. But she stopped flinching whenever I approached. Not that I touched her again. Not deliberately. Until the day I had no choice. The second touch. It happened during a medical scan. I needed to inspect the fusion scarring along her spine, damage from the neural link device her hive used for dominance conditioning. She refused anesthetics, refused sedation, refused restraints. "Just do it," she said. I positioned the scanner above her back. She knelt before me, her body rigid with tension. Her breathing grew sharp and shallow. "Veyra," I said gently, "you're shaking." "It is nothing." "It doesn't look like nothing." She didn't respond. Without thinking, without remembering her fear, I placed my hand on her shoulder. The moment my skin touched her armor plate, she made a sharp, choked sound. "Marcus, no." But it was too late. A wave of heat shot through her body. Her muscles contracted. Her claws scraped the floor. She jolted as if struck by lightning. I tried to pull back. Her hand snapped over mine, holding it in place. "Don't move." Her voice cracked with raw panic. "Veyra, what's happening?" She bowed her head low, trembling violently. "The link," she whispered. "It's trying to form." "You touched me." "It reacts." I stayed perfectly still, heart pounding. "Do you want me to pull away?" "No," the word came out strangled. "If you move too fast, it will solidify." "So what do I do?" She swallowed with difficulty. "You stay." "Until it fades." We stayed like that, my hand on her shoulder, her body shaking beneath my touch, for nearly 2 minutes. When it finally stopped, she let go. Slowly, carefully. I pulled my hand back. Veyra turned toward me, her expression unreadable. "You should have run," she whispered. "You should have been afraid." I wasn't. "Why?" she demanded, her voice breaking. "Why did you not stop touching me?" Her eyes glistened with something like anguish. I took a slow breath. "Because you were in pain, and you needed someone. I don't care what your species thinks touch means. I care what you feel." She stared at me for a long, trembling moment. Then her gaze lowered. "For the first time," she said softly, "a touch did not mean domination or fear." For the first time, she didn't flinch when I reached toward her. For the first time, she leaned very slightly into my hand. The escape attempt. The next turning point came 3 days later. I entered the lab to find a team of armed officers waiting. Not Earth officers. Othari soldiers. They had come for her. Their leader, a towering male with obsidian armor and deep crimson eyes, stepped forward. "We reclaim our warrior," he announced. "Human protocols do not override Othari law." Veyra stood behind them, silent, her shoulders tight with dread. I stepped between them. "She's under Earth protection." "You have no authority," the male hissed. "She belongs to the Hive." I glanced at her. She wouldn't look at me. "Veyra," I said quietly, "do you want to go with them?" A tortured silence followed. Her throat bobbed. "I cannot choose." "Yes, you can." The Othari leader snarled. "Enough of this." He reached for her arm, and her body reacted before her mind did. She recoiled so violently, she crashed into a console. He paused, eyes narrowing. "You allowed the human to touch you," he accused. I sensed the partial imprint. Veyra froze. My stomach dropped. This was the connection she feared. The one that would expose her. The Othari leader's voice filled with fury. You allowed him to mark you. You shame the Hive. Veyra lowered her head in terror. Before he could grab her again, I stepped in front of her. You're not taking her. He laughed, a low, cruel sound. You think you can protect her? From us? No, I said calmly. But she's under human protection now. And under human law, we do not return prisoners to abusive conditions. The word abusive hung in the air like a detonator. Veyra inhaled sharply. The leader's eyes flared. You presume to judge the Hive? I presume, I said, to protect my patient. It was a gamble. A stupid one. But a calculated stupid. Othari deeply respected personal courage. The leader stepped closer, towering over me. You touched what is not yours. And she's not yours to hurt. Silence.
Long.
Cold. Then, slowly, he stepped back. The Hive will remember this, he warned. So will I. They left without another word. When the door sealed behind them, Veyra collapsed to her knees. Marcus, she whispered, voice shaking. Why would you do that? I knelt beside her. Because you deserve to choose your own fate. Her eyes met mine. Raw, vulnerable, and filled with something I hadn't seen before.
Trust.
Ending. The touch that meant choice. 2 weeks after the incident, Earth Command granted Veyra asylum. She stayed on the research station. Voluntarily. Not as a prisoner. As a guest. She learned more about human culture. She asked questions. She laughed once, softly, as if it surprised her. And when she passed me in the lab, she no longer pulled away. One night, as I finished logging reports, she approached me quietly. Marcus, she said, her voice steady but nervous. May I ask something? Anything. She hesitated. Earlier, when you touched me, even knowing the risk, why did you not stop? I looked at her, at someone who had lived her whole life under fear and control, at someone who had never been touched gently. Because, I said softly, you needed contact that wasn't a threat. Someone to show you you're not alone. She stepped closer, slowly, deliberately. Her hand hovered near mine. Then may I touch you? She whispered. This time, she reached first. Her fingers brushed my hand, just a light, trembling contact. It was not a binding touch, not a link, not an imprint. It was her choice. Her eyes softened. For the first time, she murmured, touch does not mean fear. I intertwined my fingers with hers. For the first time, I replied, it means trust. She squeezed my hand gently, and perhaps more. We stood like that, linked, not by instinct or hive law, but by something far more human.